navigating obstacles to keyboard.
It's a Monday, so
Oof. Well, it's been a very eventful Monday. Tag of Toby.
hey Pico, nice to see you again. Yeah, it's a warm Monday.
I think the days are just going to get warmer. Summer
Has definitely come upon us.
Yes.
It's nice to see you're with us, Pico.
Yeah, we were just mentioning the other day that we haven't seen you in a while.
Mm-mm.
Not just in person, but like on the stream. Okay. Network strength is variable.
Yeah. Host strength is variable too. But we'll keep going.
Lots of OT work. Oh, sorry to hear that, Pico. But yeah, I feel like 2021's been particularly busy.
I think everyone this year is making up for the mess
Last year.
of last year.
I think so too. And I think there's just a lot of like making up for lost time sort of behavior we're seeing.
Or trying to get some semblance of normality back, despite the fact that we're all handicapped in some way right now in how things are working. I mean, you've got businesses who probably burned through a lot of their budgets and are now trying to keep businesses going. But then their clients themselves are also working with meager budgets. So it's
been tough.
everyone's in half empty. And sometimes you just have to flow through and keep going.
Well, we experimented with announcing our schedule for like the week, and I don't see an immediate effect yet. But we'll continue to like try to keep things a bit more organized for Baduy Pride, and then hopefully this will also lead to us figuring out our guestings again. As long as we keep mapping out clear schedules ahead of time, then it will be easy to put stuff together. I guess we'll start in a minute, 9:15, and then we'll just roll with it. Funnily, we actually ended up with a bit of a mad scramble before the start of the stream, trying to find our copy of the base game of Sushi Go.
Yes.
Because, okay, and this is already like, well, it's 9:15, we can start.
I guess we should officially start.
Yeah,
So we can
we'll
talk about it. Okay, this is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It's completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. It's our 152nd episode, and we're talking about the game that we liked so much, we have actually purchased it 3 times.
3 times! And this is, well, I'll crop it. It says, it's Sushi Go, but the current version we have is Sushi Go Party. And let me explain this story, okay? We first encountered Sushi Go in Singapore on one of our earliest trips to Paradigm Infinitum.
Yes.
It was the game on display.
It was a game that was on the table that was opened up for everyone to see. And when we were doing our usual rounds, we stopped and looked and, Isn't this so cute? And the artwork wasn't even these.
No, this was already the artwork.
Wasn't
Generally.
it less detailed than these?
Because we didn't have this particular mapping.
Yes.
But like, this is still the art style. So
Yeah,
like,
this
look
one.
at
This,
the-
this.
yeah, yeah.
So the art is these.
Of course, you want to highlight the flan.
You can see how. I can't. Still blurry.
Yeah, but
super cute artwork.
and Karen is here. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining. So kawaii art, cute cards, and then the mechanics seemed very straightforward. And we got it. We opened it up at the airport,
And we
waiting
started
for our
playing.
flight home, and we started playing in the airport, and we played our first ever round of Sushi Go at the airport, and it was awesome. Then there was another version of Sushi Go that came out that was an Asian multilingual one that had a
Some-
new card
It had a lot of extra text because it was
because it was
English,
multilingual.
English and other languages. I wasn't sure if it was just Chinese. I think it
Asian,
was- I think it
because
was-
Asian region.
But it had an expansion, which was the soy sauce expansion, and that will make more sense when we explain what the game is about.
Yeah, so we got that one,
Because
and then
we wanted the expansion.
we wanted the expansion. And the original Sushi Go was in a smaller tin like this. Game Right loves these tins. The expansion was in a straight up box. And we figured, okay, technically we don't need 2 copies of the same game. So we gifted that one to a friend.
Mhm.
And then sometime after, they announced Sushi Go Party. And
And-
Sushi Go Party supports up to 8 players.
And that's when we decided we were willing to buy it a third time. And now we can't remember for certain who we gifted the second one to.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we gifted the second one because this Sushi Go Party contains the base game of Sushi Go and the soy sauce and a few other stuff. So let's talk about what is Sushi Go.
So Sushi Go was first released in 2013.
Wow.
It's a game where you pass around sushi and try to keep the best for yourself. But part of the strategy is making sure you keep room for dessert. It's a game designed by Phil Walker Harding, and it plays with 2 to 5 players. It's a very quick game, each session lasting barely 2-3 minutes long, and an entire full game barely going beyond 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's generally fair to say. So like a conveyor sushi restaurant, the main mechanic of this game is card drafting. And for those unfamiliar, card drafting is any
Hey, Mike.
situation where you all have the same number of cards,
You can-
you choose one for yourself, and you pass the remaining cards to the next player. So Sushi Go relies on that mechanic for that feeling of you see the food passing by and then you will take a plate as it is in front of you.
The game has you managing the hand that you are given that round, because the cards you choose then become a tableau in front of you, and later when all the cards have been drafted out, you then see what you have in front of you, and that's where the scoring happens. Unlike most games, this game has everyone playing at the same time, so it's a simultaneous action game. So it isn't like other games we're in, we have to determine who's first player. It doesn't matter. Here, everyone takes a turn, and everyone tries to make the most of that action, whether it's to play a card or to use a certain effect that allows you to do something different.
Which is still largely playing a card. I mean, like, so ultimately, your basic turn is you will start with your hand of cards, and the number of cards varies based on the number of players involved. You will choose one which represents the food or whatever item that you are going to eat or take for yourself, place it face down in front of you, and then once everybody's ready, you pass the card to the left or whatever the agreed upon this direction is, and reveal the card that you have tucked. And that will be now permanently part of your tableau, and you'll start to figure out what you're gonna have.
Now, the basic game of Sushigo had a different selection of cards. You had the Onigiri cards, which came in 3 types, each one with a corresponding point value.
1, 2, and 3.
You had the rolls, or the maki rolls, which would give points to whoever had the most, and the second one who had the most. You had tempura, the appetizer, which basically only scored you points if you were able to get a pair. Then you had sashimi, which scores the big points, but it requires you to have 3. The dumplings then are the most common card in the game,
but also the most complicated.
and you are able to get points depending on the number of dumplings you've collected. Then there are the 3 special cards. First is the chopsticks, which by itself is useless. It does not earn you points.
No points for chopsticks.
But on any turn, you can declare Sushigo using the chopsticks, and it allows you to play the chopsticks back into the draft. But then you grab 2 cards from the selection that you normally would only pick 1 from.
And the math works out. Don't worry, you're not gonna skew what's there. It's just that you suddenly get to add 2 cards to your tableau, and you pass the chopsticks along.
There's wasabi, which is
it's
useless.
A point modifier.
It's useless by itself. But if you get nigiri after you got wasabi, then you are able to apply it as a modifier to the score.
And timing is everything. You can't just have the wasabi on your tableau and then later decide which nigiri to pair it with.
And you can't.
It must be played in sequence.
And you can't have nigiri then later add the wasabi.
Yes.
You have to have had it at the right moment.
There's a right order for these things.
Finally, there's the pudding. And by having the most pudding, you get an extra boost of points. But if you have the fewest, you lose points.
Because it's sad when you don't have dessert. The funny thing about pudding, the dessert card, is that it does not score any points in that round. It only scores at the very end of the meal.
Because as you play multiple rounds of the game, cards are drafted, they go around, people build their tableau. The tableau is scored and it's tracked on the scoreboard. But all dessert cards are just kept. And you don't really score them till the end of the game. So as you play, you can see, he already has 2, he has 2, I have 1, I have to catch up.
Yeah, so the game is played across 3 rounds of play until you finish that whole hand of cards. And again, the number of cards varies based on number of players, especially if you're playing with just the base game. And that's it. And you just tabulate your scores for each round and then see your total scores across the 3 rounds to determine the winner.
The game's quick to play, it's tremendously easy to learn, but it has those aha moments as you start to get and understand how it works more. You have these fun moments of surprise when, let's say, you choose to get this and pass on the tempura because you're thinking the chances of building the tempura are low because everyone's probably going to grab the tempura. But then on your next hand, tempura! Then you suddenly realize you should have played it earlier. And it has those nice moments that make it just amazing.
I mean, the wasabi just looks like this fat little bean. It's super cute. It's super, oh my God. Who's going to dip his maki into that? So, well, nigiri. And then things like the sashimi are like a happy trio on their plate. So, I mean, I super, super love the art of Sushi Go.
So the base game was quite elegant. Similar to, hey Carla, similar to Love Letter, there was a certain clarity and elegance in the design. It was very accessible. It was beautifully made. And the visual language of the cards were were quite well because at the bottom you could see the rules. It's not that clear on camera.
But yeah, there's a quick summary of the rules.
And then at the top you have the way to keep track of things so that when you stack them on top of each other, you actually have a nice system to keep track of the cards. So it was a very, very well-crafted game. And Carlo asks, why does the stream look low resolution? That might be us.
Whenever we wear dark shirts, the contrast gets super messed up with the lighting. But I don't know, but it looks clear on our monitor. So I don't know.
It's like super dark on the.
It may also be the internet strength. When I started the stream, internet did not look
both
great.
Are really muddy.
You want to lower the intensity of the light or something? Maybe that'll help.
Actually, but higher might be the way.
It's going to be a minute before it adjusts on the live stream.
But yeah, it's really muddy. Okay, I'm watching the adjustment. We're burning. Wow, it really looks out of focus, which is so odd because the mainstream camera looks clear. It's an internet
It must
thing.
be an internet thing. So
Sorry, guys.
Oh well.
Anyway, so with the base game, we grabbed Party, and one of the main reasons we got Party was the fact that it allowed you to jump all the way up to 8 players.
I mean, a small card game that supports up to 5 players is already brilliant. It's quite brilliant on its own. But then pushing it up to 8 into a party range and maintain the same level of gameplay, great stuff. Super great stuff.
Now, the base game had 108 cards, and that was distributed to the different card types. With Sushi Go Party, the card numbers boost up to 181. And that's because not only did the game allow itself to have more players, they added more food.
But what's interesting is so you have now this nice little scoreboard in Sushi Go Party, but they still maintain the same number of things. So they didn't change the card quantity for the most part. That you still have 2 specials. In the original game, it was wasabi and chopsticks. You still have rolls, which is the maki one. You have 3 appetizers,
Tempura,
which is
sashimi, dumplings.
yeah, and then yeah,
You had the nigiri.
and then you had the nigiri is fixed on the board. You always have nigiri,
And then you have
and
dessert.
then you have dessert. So here they adopted a card system so that you can
So almost like a menu.
yes,
Whenever you play Sushi Go Party, you get to slot in and choose what type of cards you're using in the session.
like our special today could be special order. You're not going to wait for the conveyor.
Do you want to play this time with tofu? Would you prefer to have edamame in your menu? Are you hoping to enjoy temaki?
Or which is funnily, we compared it to a menu. You can have a menu. And then if you want other dessert, wait, oops. Oof.
Appetizers.
Oh well,
We can put-
alternate. Maybe we're healthy and we have fruit.
and then maybe we can have miso soup.
Oh, everybody loves miso soup. Oh, but look, appetizer, eel, and miso soup, and tofu, and all these things.
So as you can see, it all slots into this board. It's very pretty, very beautiful, and yet functional. Because if you look around the board, it's the score tracker.
And the party edition gave us a score. Now that we have a score tracker, of course we have little tokens, and they look like soy sauce bottles or sake, depending on your appeal. But their only purpose is to track the score because there's nothing else to do. Admittedly, with the original Sushi Go, we would just use pen and paper and then track accordingly.
But as you can see here, just like the previous design, every card already has the system written down. The color coding allows you to easily identify based on the top of the borders. And the modularity of it all just makes it so worth the investment.
Yes.
So let's talk about each new item.
And I guess it's easier to do that in the manual.
So with each item, we now determine the number of players now determines the number of dessert cards in play. For 2 to 5 players, it's the usual 5, 3, 2 number of dessert cards because yes, the number of desserts lessen with each round of play.
Well, the number of dessert cards added to the deck.
Yes. As you play with 6 to 8 players, you have 7, 5, 3 instead. Every player starts with a set number of cards at the start of the game, and in parties, the rules are for a 2 to 3 player game, you start with 10 cards, and that's drafted around. For 4 to 5 players, it's 9 cards. 6 to 7 is 8, and 8 players is 7.
So fewer cards.
Among the special cards are the spoon, which allows you to perform a bonus action on any turn after the turn in which it was played. You basically call out the name of the card, and all players are revealing the cards that turn. After all players have played their chosen cards as normal, the called out action takes effect. The bonus actions happen before players pick the hand of the cards of the right neighbor to begin the next turn. So Spoon is one of the tricky systems because it allows a lot more flexibility in the game. Definitely not something for new players. But for people who have gotten used to the game, the spoon is an amazing way to add more thrill and more stratagem to the game.
And the spoon is specifically for 3 to 8 players. So you can't play it in a 2-player game because of the fact that it steals cards. So it's one of the few direct player interaction cards. And then the other warning is that it doesn't mean like I say nigiri, everybody's going to give me nigiri. It is the first player on the left who's going to give nigiri.
So temaki, well, the spoon therefore represents someone scooping someone beside them to get the food they want. Temaki is similar to the rolls, and it is under the rolls category.
No, similar to maki.
Yeah. The effect of temaki is at the end of the round, not the game, the round, you compare temaki rolls with the players around you, and whoever has the most wins 4 points immediately. In a 2-player game, there is no loss of points for having the least. But yes, temaki is like dessert happening within the game. Uramaki, or uramaki rolls that are inside out, is a race to eat 10 of them. During a round, if you are the first to have collected 10 icons of uramaki,
I put them here.
Yes. Then you will be able to score immediately 8 points. And the next player to collect 10 uramaki icons scores 5, and the third player to collect 10 scores 2. So
it's delicious. It has so many things in it. It has like tuna and salmon and something.
So investing in urumaki is never a bad thing to do, but keep in mind it's a long-term investment because you need 10. However, a single urumaki card can have as many as 10 icons, 5 icons at the top. So it's not actually that hard to reach 10 if you play it right. After urumaki, we have edamame, which is one of my favorites because they're so cute. And it can only be used in the 3 to 8 player game, which is so sad. But edamame basically allows you to score 1 point for each opponent who has edamame. And this is only for each of your edamame played cards. Edamame are worth 0 if only one player plays any edamame in the round. But as more other people play edamame, the more the points are happening.
Because you share edamame.
Yes, the points are shared.
Everybody at the table has to eat some.
Eel is one of those games, is one of those food wherein you have to be careful when you choose to get them. If you only eat one, you will lose 3 points because the game represents how you might not like the taste. But then it grows on you, and if you succeed in eating your second, you score 7 points. Eel, however, does not give you points for the rest of the game, but you'll notice since you can penalize others who have started to eat an eel, you might grab the extra eel just to make sure they suffer.
Ooh, that's a Toby thing to do.
Onigiri. Onigiri are the rice balls that come in different shapes.
So
and in
challenging.
This game, they are different shapes. As we can see here in the card, onigiri comes in 4 different shapes. And if you're wondering why that looks like a chicken, because it is in the shape of a chicken. The onigiri rice balls come in 4 different shapes: the circle, the triangle, the square, and the rectangle. And by collecting sets, you are able to score the most points of onigiri.
But it's sets of the different shapes, not repeated onigiri of the same shape.
So if you have one of each shape, then you will score a magnificent 16 points.
He's not really a chicken. He has like the cherry, that ginger thing on top.
So yeah, onigiri is one of the fun things to do because it's always tempting to start grabbing them. And the moment you grab them, everyone realizes they have to grab them to break your sets. Miso soup. Everyone is always jealous of that one person who orders a hot cup of miso soup. And in this game, it could not be better illustrated by the fact that if you play miso soup and you are the only one who played it that turn, you score 3 points. However, if more than one miso soup is played that turn, all of them are immediately discarded and do not score anything.
You have to be the only one.
So you have to time getting miso when no one else is getting it. And that is just delicious. Because the moment you play a miso early, you're forcing everyone to now waste a turn to grab a miso to stop you from getting 3 points. It's an amazing
No, but it's only in the round it's played. So that's the only time they evaluate. So if you already have a miso soup face up, yeah, then there's no way that they can
Unless
stop
someone
it.
has chopsticks or the spoon
Oh, and
to
then
mess up your
takes the
plans.
miso. But then, yeah, oh, that could work.
Sashimi, as mentioned earlier, tempura. But then there's tofu, which is the new card as well.
I love tofu scoring mechanic.
Tofu scores you more as long as you eat just enough. First, tofu scores 2 points. So having tofu scores 6. But the moment you score more than 3, well, more than 2, you lose your points.
Oh my. You can't have too much tofu. It's just not a way to maximize your conveyor sushi day.
And finally, we have the last 2 cards that are new. We have the menu, which is only used in a 2 to 6 player game.
Yeah.
The menu literally looks like a menu, as we can see it here. But the menu basically allows you to draw 4 cards from the unused deck and then look at them. And then you get to choose one of the cards immediately and play it. The remaining 3 cards are then returned to the deck and shuffled. So unlike everyone relying on the conveyor belt, you sort of look at the menu and go, I want this. But only if it's available for that day. Finally, we have soy sauce.
There's more though.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot to mention the others.
Okay.
The other specials. Then we have soy sauce. Soy sauce basically allows you to win if you have the most number of the colors of soy sauce that are available. By having the different colors, then you are able to score big points. We have the other cards, which I haven't really used that often, so I totally forgot about them.
Yeah, and we'll get to why, because there's a preset.
So there's special order, which is this one.
Special order.
Special order
The
is a
gayest
card
card.
that allows you to copy any other card that you have previously played in the current round. So it's a bit of a tricky system there. But since it can match a card that you need, it allows you to really create certain things faster. Tempura, for example, is an immediate thing you can score with the use of a special order. Still can't find it?
Yeah, it's like,
It's okay. It's kind of hard to find.
yeah, because we haven't really organized this well.
Then we have the takeout box, which looks like this. Yay, takeout box. The takeout box allows you to choose any number of cards that you played on previous turns this round to flip them face down. These cards are no longer considered to be part of what you have in front of you, but they're immediately worth 2 points
Because
each.
you're getting them
at the end of the
takeaway.
So if you know you have cards which won't score, for example, you were going for the Uramaki and you
Oh,
won't
there's
reach
this.
10, then you flip them down and there's suddenly 2 points per card. Amazing!
Oh, the soy sauce is not colors of soy sauce. It's different colored cards.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Then we have tea. Tea cleanses the palate, and this is represented by having you count the number of cards in your largest set of cards with the same background color. Tea is worth 1 point for each card in that set. So it basically allows you to score more points if you've been eating a lot of one specific thing. Finally, we have our dessert options. There's the green tea
Ice
cream, which at the end of the game, 1, 2, or 3 green tea cards score you nothing. But as long as you have 4 green tea cards, you actually score 12 points. And if you actually succeed in getting another set of 4, that's another 12 points. So it's an amazing way, but it's really hard to score them. Fruit is one of those dessert options wherein you will all players score the 3 types of fruit: watermelon, orange, and pineapple. You add up and score the icons at the top of your cards based on the table that's given. So for example, if you have 5 fruit types, then that will be 10 points. It's a little bit tricky because it affects everyone, so you'll all have to see who gets what in terms of points. So as you can see, with all those different cards and a modular board that has you pick which cards you're playing with. Oop, that fell down. The game already offers so much variety, so much options. And part of what makes that even more fun is that they offer these selections. It's little combinations that have been preset to hit certain flavors in the game.
Yeah, so and that's also like why we've played for particular ones more often than others.
So we have there, and then we have there.
I mean, like, you can make your own as long as you follow the rules on the board itself. But yeah, the game nicely gives you different combinations called My First Meal, Sushi Go, which is the classic menu from the base game. Party Sampler, which is the one we keep playing. Master Menu, which is more for more experienced players.
Point Splatter, which is all about getting big points in the game.
Cutthroat Combo, which is a lot of the stealing and timing and interaction stuff.
Big Banquet, which is perfect for 6 to 8 players.
And Dinner for 2, which is all the 2-player mechanics that just might work out for you.
So that's Sushi Go Party. As you can see, it's quite a game with a lot of interesting ideas. But at the same time, it is also a game which is not painful to learn. It's light enough to make you want to play, more sessions. We've had instances wherein after a round, we'll have people going, isa pa, let's try again. We have a lot of opportunities to try different tactics, different combinations. And yes, as Karen asks, don't you get hungry while playing? You will. You definitely will.
I can't eat anymore. I can only eat sashimi.
Even before, though, we have not really played this game while having sushi.
Because I don't want to get soy sauce dripping onto the cards. Just to be very frank there. I'm sorry I'm now organizing this because I'm a little miffed that I had such a hard time finding things.
Mitch asks, we're able to make your combos beyond the samples. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It's probably
it's
in
hard to
reference
interpret
something.
Mitch fully.
But yes, we haven't tried playing this with actual food. We've always found ourselves thinking about this game when we do talk about sushi. We have literally played this while in the terminal waiting for a plane ride using a nearby chair as a table. So it is compact enough for that type of fun because the tableau doesn't really need to be spread out. You can just stack them and look at them and that's fine. What else? It's colorful, it's fun, it's non-violent, very kid-friendly. It allows you to even talk about Japanese food and introduce to them the ideas and concept behind each one, which is amazing.
Your own game combo beyond the sample on the rule book.
Oh, we haven't
even fully done all the ones in the rule book.
Yes, and at most we probably just mixed a few. Like we'll do the startup, but let's try this one with this instead. But we haven't really stopped to make our own combination. That would be something interesting, and maybe we should write it up and then share it with a name.
Yeah, we can make an alternate menu for everyone. I am assembling a base Sushigo menu.
The box itself is an interesting one because it comes with an insert for all the cards.
However, there are not enough slots if you dedicate a slot to every type of card. Because the specials are typically only 3 per set. So that's never going to happen. Plus, you have the menu, whatever items, these little hard card things.
Which don't really fit.
Which don't have a slot.
In a specific spot.
So it's a little good, a little bad.
It was nice to see that there were ways to separate the cards. It was not nice realizing it wasn't really fully realized. And sadly, even with the board on top of everything and seal the box, if you tip it to its side, it will spill out.
The main problem is that the player tokens, oops, I can't angle it well, there, are all hidden in the bottom, the sushi, the soy sauce containers. But the moment you turn this up on its side, they all fall out. So
Mitch asks, what is your favorite card set?
I don't know about set, but I know there are cards that we are definitely drawn to more than the others. I know that I always get a kick out of miso soup. Miso soup is hilarious because of the fact that you're always trying to time that I'm the only one who's going to eat miso soup this turn. And then it's like that sneaky, I'm going to sip now, and then, aha!
And there is that moment of, if you're looking to play a miso soup, you're like, please no one else play it. Please no one else play it. I'm a sucker for edamame. I just love how those cards look, and I love how the system works. Admittedly, I'm also one in the game who actually doesn't go for the desserts, as odd as that sounds. I tend to focus on different cards while everyone's grabbing desserts. I only focus on desserts when I want to avoid the negative points as being the lowest.
I spread out a lot, and then I like it depending on my opening card run. Like I might make a serious bid for a serious bid for the maki, because the roll type cards typically require you have to have the most. But it's hard. It really depends. Like if my starting hand has like three maki in it, a card the one card that offers three maki on top, I might go for it. And then kind of run from there. Karen asks, what do we think is the cutest card?
For me, the cutest is a tie between the edamame
You really love edamame.
and the pudding. Only because the pudding is very, very happy.
I don't know.
being
I
pudding.
love the contented face of Wasabi. It's just he almost looks Gudetama-ish in his contentment. And then when you slap a nigiri on top of him, it's like, haha, times 3 points.
Now,
Thanks.
I am a bit I'm a bit miffed that the only tamago is one of the nigiri. And there is no just the egg.
There's no like egg custard.
Yeah.
I mean other options.
But I guess it's understandable.
There is only so much space for all this Japanese food.
But the art is beautiful. It's very fun to look at. Be warned, however, that there is a different edition of the game.
Oh my
and the art
gosh.
is different.
There is a German edition that made the rounds of local board game stores back in the day, and it looks totally different. It has this crazy cat on the cover, and the art looks more disturbing than cute.
It has the more modern or contemporary cartoon style of funny characters because they look crazy.
Yeah.
They have their eyes rolling in different positions.
It's like more Nickelodeon than
Yes.
Disney. You know?
So that's something that you might want to look at. We like the original look of Sushi Go.
Because look, even the Toby has his little tongue out. Sorry. Meh. So yeah, I mean, like, go for any of the game right editions of Sushigo because they just super work out. And I'm always happy with the resulting art style more than anything else. I mean, you can't go wrong with the game right editions.
Pico shares whenever he plays Sushi Go, he remembers Genki Sushi. I totally get that. I totally get why you'd say that.
Actually, I would think more back in the day. We used to have Sakai sushi at places like Moa, and that was really a full conveyor because Genki Sushi is still made to order, and it comes out on the car delivery system, which is cool, but it's not officially like full conveyor sushi.
Pico asks, is tofu keto friendly?
Surprisingly, yes, but like very plain.
And then Mitch asks, to sleeve or not to sleeve? We never sleeved.
We've never sleeved. The cards are nicely laminated. This game right container
It's
is
not sleeve
snug.
friendly.
It is not sleeve friendly.
Many hate this container, and Mitch shared the link of one of the people who were lamenting that. We're happy with it. We're not exactly, we won't praise it the way we did Dice Forge, for example.
Yeah.
But we definitely at least appreciate that there was some effort to try to store your cards separately.
I feel like they wanted to leave the door open for like maybe another expansion. But the fact that the card slots aren't even enough for the cards in this box. So that's just annoying. That's just annoying. Because the specials, I mean, I get it. Each special is only 3 cards. So then they kind of bundle up. So I guess you're going to end up putting like all your special cards in one stack or 1 or 2 stacks. And that's not great for like when you're setting up your game, as I'm doing now.
Pico does share. Don't sleeve. We tried and it's not nice, really, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and especially if you had the original game right edition in the tin, totally didn't have enough space for sleeves because of it's just the sheer number of cards.
Karen shares,
gonna
Miss
work out.
Conveyor Belt Sushi, we do too. And sadly for Rocky, even if we can, it's no longer an option.
Yeah, I can only do conveyor or sashimi if there were something like that.
But sadly, that rarely happens. They
Yeah.
rarely have sashimi and those things. But yeah, so that's Sushigo. We love playing this game. We like making it part of our collection of different Asian themed games, whether it's Takkaido, Takenoko, and all that. Only because it allows us to also play, nice, calm music as we play, compared to the times.
But the gameplay is intense. I don't know what the point of the calm music is.
What's a good number of players? Admittedly, we have not felt that the game cracks with the number of players.
Yeah, I
Whether
mean,
it
like,
was few or many,
it
we've been
super
enjoying.
works out. And then this party set, despite how the slots of these things don't make sense to me, but it's still super fun, and it works out in that regard. So there's no problem. I mean, I think it scales pretty well. If you have the party set, even the base game, we didn't have trouble when we played it up to 5 players. So.
Yes.
It's kind of an awesome game regardless. And I know that sounds pretty bold of us to claim, but that's really how it feels. It just works.
Sushigo exists in a digital format. You will see mobile app versions of it on Steam. It appears on Tabletop Simulator, but I don't think it's the official release.
Yeah. And then admittedly, as I've told people when we introduced it to Sushigo, and then when they ask which version or whatnot, admittedly, Sushigo Party is the way to go. Like, if you're only going to own one copy of Sushigo, get Sushigo Party. Because you have the benefit of the base game, and you have all the other cards that make you feel like you got multiple expansions. You have a can that can generally hold them all. You have this beautiful menu board thing, which solves the problem of how to score this game instead of just using pen and paper. So yeah, try to find the Sushigo Party edition more than anything else. If you can't, then be careful and make sure you get one of the game right. There goes those. That's why I saw the spill. Make sure you go for a game right edition of the game, so that you get the super kawaii art. Because if you don't have a game right edition, no. Peacock, is Sushigo expandable with the base game plus Sushigo Party? No. Because the card number is fixed.
Yes.
And the fact that Sushigo Party contains the same number of cards of the base game plus expansion cards, there is no need for the base game, which is why we keep giving the base game away.
You might think that adding cards means you can have the game last longer, but that will break the math. And
Yes.
it will make certain cards feel more overpowered than others.
If you combine a base set with this, you're definitely going to be having way too much nigiri than you should. Because the nigiri are part of all forms of play of the game. And then, yeah, it's just going to make it weird out. So don't combine in a base game. Instead, share the gift of gaming, re-gift your base game of Sushigo, and give it to someone else, which is what we have done. Because it's a delightful game, and we will always share it.
Also, be aware that there is a similarly themed but different game which uses dice.
Sushi Roll.
So be aware that that's out there, because you might just grab the first sushi-looking board game you'll see.
It's also made by Game Right, and it uses the same art. It is pretty much a dice version of Sushigo, so to speak, but it uses the dice going around as a drafting mechanic, and it feels like a roll and write, but I don't know. I don't think it's a roll and write.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sushi Roll is a different game. We haven't gotten it because, as we've discussed many times, Toby is not the best when it comes to dice games.
And the tagline is that tempura in your belly, or are you just happy sashimi?
That's a little cheeky for a children's game. I mean, it's a family game, isn't it? So, but yeah. I mean, there's no problem in getting it. It's just that we're not great on dice games. So,
but it is a dice and very token heavy game.
yeah. There's a lot of components in Sushi Roll.
I think they did tokens to replace the
cards,
the roll and write feel.
Yeah,
so they just put tokens rather than write stuff down.
So we're like, I feel like we may eventually get a copy if Toby sees it on the secondary market again, because that's Toby's life.
And because the dice are also cute.
The dice of Sushi Roll have the different card faces of, so it's that same art reduced into dice iconography. So that is quite cute. It's quite kawaii. Kawaii.
Pico shares, but Sushi Go has no happy salmons. Yeah. Okay, so that was Sushi Go Party and Sushi Go. I don't think we'll be seeing us purchase a 4th version anytime soon.
I don't know. GameRight might mess with us again.
Or they might release a Sushi Go Forever. And it's like Sushi Go Roll and Sushi Go Party in one tin.
I don't know.
With an authentic wooden ship.
Yeah, I would only accept it if that is Sushi Boat. Sushi Go Party and Sushi Roll put together should be Sushi Boat.
But
I miss those Japanese restaurants that would serve like all that sashimi on a sushi boat. That was good stuff. What was that, Miki Moto or something? Or was that a clothing store? I can't remember by mixing up brands.
Mega Party version. That would be interesting if they find a way to do Sushi Go to be playable with large groups the way Happy Salmon is.
I think that the Sushi Go that we all really want to play must be using actual food on a conveyor belt.
But that also means none of you can eat it until the round ends because you have to count it. That's torture.
And then you get the pudding. And the pudding has to survive 3 rounds.
Giga pudding.
Oh my god. Sushi boat. But yeah.
All right. So that is our episode.
Very briefly, we always try to talk strategy. Is there a strategy for Sushi Go?
Pay attention to what others grab. The fact that it's a drafting game always means that what others don't get are good things for you to grab. However, that also means that they are not impeded with what they're targeting. So be careful about that.
Don't make a decision based on your opening hand of cards alone. Like if you see that your opening hand, for example, has the 3 sashimi cards, that doesn't mean you have big chances of getting the sashimi altogether. Because you need to see those cards spread out across hands so that you stand a better chance of getting it. So
keep an eye on the dumplings that offer, the maki that offers multiple maki in one card. Even if you're not hoping to win the maki race, grabbing that card with a larger numbers means you might win 2nd place.
Or at the very least, prevent a penalty towards the end. But yeah, 2nd place is good. And then watch out for, what's this? I'm lost. No, in the base game, get your chopsticks down early. Don't be afraid to get your chopsticks down early and use it once. Because the problem with chopsticks is that it keeps returning to the stack.
And you don't want to end your round with it in your hand.
Yeah, so it's sad when on your final round, it's like, oh, I drew chopsticks from the bank and it doesn't do anything.
Nigiri is always worth the grab because nigiri
is absolute points.
It's always points, no matter even if you don't grab wasabi to make it better.
Yeah, but in a game with nigiri and wasabi, don't be afraid to grab that wasabi and play through.
Yes.
But you may not necessarily get the full salmon, and the salmon is the 3-point card, which will give you 9 points at the end of the game, to the round. But play it well, because even if it just multiplies the 1-point tamago, it still makes it a 3-point tamago, and that's pretty good.
And as Pico mentioned, strategy is not needed to make it a more fun-based game. It's
to be fair, there are people who just eat what they want to eat,
and then they'll win.
And they're like, what? They had the best meal.
They'll have players going, oh, I just wanted the nigiri. They're like, what? How many points do you have? 27!
Yeah, I feel like dumplings easily gets away from me. Like you think that because dumplings scale slow at first. It's like the first dumpling is 1.
Right?
When you have 2 dumplings, it's 3 points. But yeah, towards the end it's only 15. So it gets kind of crazy fast. But it's a large card investment.
Yeah.
And then I often see a lot of sashimi players blocking one another. Because it's 3 cards to make the set. It's really hard. Tempura is easier to score.
Yeah.
But if there is a tip that I could offer, this is still mostly based Sushigo, is that if you are aiming for the complicated sets, like the tempura and the sashimi, those are the perfect times to use cards like chopsticks, special order, and menu to complete that set.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Mid-share, smash up Tokaido plus Sushi Go at
Oh, that would be fun. But only if someone eats maki at the table. So we have to like look at what people eat at the end.
And then suddenly side game.
Oh, sushi go time!
And then if you succeed, there's free coins or something.
I don't know. So you just the satisfaction that you won something, even though you may not win the end of the Tokaido round. Yay!
All right.
But yeah, but because it's a drafting game, it's really hard to map things out. So just be familiar with your cards, pay attention to what you see in the hands and what you see disappear so that you can kind of map out. But to be fair, the player tableaus are open. There's no hidden information in this game. So it can work out. Kenny says, niluna like they're in a buffet, kain na ng kain. Very possible. All right, that's Sushi Go.
So that's Sushi Go by GameRight. We definitely recommend this game. We hope you check it out. We hope you find the version that we enjoyed as well. But if you like the other version and you like the art, then good, because that means you found something you like as well. That's all the time we have for now. We had a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us again next time.
Feel free to fill out the Google form below if you have questions or suggestions for future episodes. And note, we have a schedule out for the whole week. I posted it last night. But hopefully that'll help people figure out what to expect this week.
We will try to keep having a schedule every week. And once we got that into a habit, we will then try to hit a specific time every week.
And guests. And we'll try to figure out scheduling guests. You can also follow us on Twitter, Toby No Shade, RG Sunico, where I also post all the schedules and the links and whatnot.
You could also check out our blog, baduypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
I should have blogged the schedule. I only thought about that now.
We haven't really had people checking it yet.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below. And, would you eat sushi this adorable that is asking you to eat them? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.